In this video, I'm going to tell you how to use debt to make passive income. It might sound like a scam. How can debt ever be good? I mean, when you hear the word debt, what do you think of? Probably something negative like your student debt. How much did you borrow to go to college? $20,000, $50,000, or perhaps $100,000 if you went to Ivy League. It's frustrating to see that number growing while you're barely making enough money to pay your bills. Before the bank handed you $100,000 to go to college, everyone told you these stories that if you go to college and get good grades, you will get a job that will pay for everything. But here you are, made it to the end, and you barely found this job. And now some random guy on the internet is about to tell you how to make money with debt. As fake as it might sound, debt is what keeps the world running. It's not cash, it's not the politician, it's not Wall Street. Everything is run by debt. Whoever knows how to use that debt wisely isn't just making a lot of money, but running the world. These people who are using debt aren't just making like $500,000 a year, they are making like billions of dollars. But what we want to focus on is how you can make money with debt, how you can use it to create passive income, how you can turn your debt into an asset that will forever keep generating income. If you're ready, give this video a thumbs up and let's dive in. Here is a simple question. Why would anyone give you millions of dollars when they can use that money for themselves? Why are they wasting it on you? Let me tell you a secret. You have no idea how much money there in the world. Trust me, the amount of wealth that is there in the world is unimaginable. There are people who have hundreds of billions of dollars in offshore accounts. Officially, there are around 1,000 people with a net worth of at least $1 billion in the United States and 3,311 billionaires worldwide. And this is just the official number. If you have a private business, nobody knows your numbers and nobody can have access to your financial statements. You could be making hundreds of millions of dollars a year and nobody knows. So you could be one of these undercover billionaires. Now every single day this enormous wealth is stored in offshore accounts and inflation is eating it up. Apple alone has over $200 billion of cash stored in offshore accounts. So if you can come up with a way and say that you will borrow this money, use it effectively, that you can give them back at 2 or 3% above the inflation rate, they will gladly lend you that money. It's as simple as that. Now inflation is like 7 or 8 or 9% now, but normally it's about 2 to 3%. So any money you make above 5% is yours. Let me tell you how rich people use debt to make a ton of money. What business do you think when you think of Starbucks? Selling coffees, right? That's what they want you to think. Starbucks is the place you go to get your daily latte. But what if I told you that Starbucks is actually a bank? It's a bank like JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Citibank, you name it. If you're a loyal Starbucks customer, you probably have the Starbucks app downloaded on your phone. And whenever you pay for your daily caramel latte, you use the app to pay for it because it lets you generate points that you can eventually use to get a free coffee. As much as they want you to believe, making a cup of coffee is cheap. Starbucks is charging you like $6 or $7 per venti frappuccino, but the actual cost is literally pennies. So for them to give you a free coffee once a month because you buy a coffee from them every single day is nothing. But most importantly, you hold your money in their wallet so that you can earn these points. At the end of 2021, users held a collective of $1.5 billion in balances. $1.5 billion might not sound like a huge amount of money, but it's more than what the most banks hold in the US. Starbucks can do whatever they want with that money. open more stores, invested in real estate, expand their operations across the globe, invested in the S&P 500, trade stocks, whatever they want. They know that you're not going to ask for that money back anyway. In fact, when it's about to be over, you are going to reload your Starbucks wallet for a week or a month. Starbucks built a business that essentially relies on borrowing money from customers with zero interest in return for giving them a cup of free coffee a month. Isn't that genius? Starbucks isn't a coffee company. It's a bank that sells coffee. It can simply lend that money on interest to someone else and live off the interest it will generate out of it, since it pays zero interest to the people who lend the money to Starbucks in the first place, except for a free cup of coffee once a month. That's not the only way the rich people make money with debt. Banks are ripping off the little guys, like you and I. It's us who pay for decades of interest on the student loan we borrow to pay the bills. But the rich only benefit from the banks. Banks are like passive income sources for the top 1%. Imagine you're a wealthy dude. Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, doesn't matter. You have this tech company that is worth like hundreds of billions of dollars. You might own like 10 or 20% of the company. On paper, you are a billionaire. But if you turn around and sell those shares, you will cripple your net worth. It will just crush the stock price, making you poorer, so you cannot do that. So how about using the profits your company generates? Nope, you can't do that either. Your company might earn like billions of dollars, but it has to reinvest that money back into the company. Otherwise, there is like a 30% corporate tax waiting for you. So what do you do as a tech CEO who owns stocks worth billions of dollars? You go to a bank and ask for $50 million. But instead, the bank will give you $100 million to buy a private jet, a yacht, or a couple of supercars. What are you going to do in return is give your shares to the bank as a collateral. The shares are still yours. The bank can only sell them to get back their money if you won't be able to pay back your debt. So you're fine as long as you make your annual minimum interest payment. The interest on your loan is going to be very small because you are considered to be a high net worth individual, and the chances that you will go broke are very slim. That's why billionaires, even though they have like so much money, they still borrow money to buy their expensive toys. Mark Zuckerberg took a mortgage to buy his Palo Alto home. Elon Musk borrowed money to buy his luxurious mansions in Bay Area. As the price of your shares keeps rising, you keep borrowing more and more, financing your lavish lifestyle while making the minimum interest payment to the bank. And when you finally make a profit, oops, your tax rate is going to be significantly lower because you can deduct all of this interest from your tax payment. It's as simple as that. And finally, this is probably the more practical way for most people. You head to a bank and you tell them that you want to borrow $500,000 to buy this amazing property. The bank will ask you for a down payment of 20%. You borrow the $400,000 at your $100,000 and you buy the property. Now, this property rents for X amount of money. You spend another $50,000 to renovate it, put some furniture, and boom, you can rent it 50% higher. The rent is not just going to cover the mortgage, but brings extra few dollars a month. For $150,000, you bought a property for $500,000, renovated it, and now it's worth like $700,000. That's how everyone makes money in the real estate. It is not some kind of rocket science. It's just the initial capital and the trust of the banks to give you that money. You get your first property, then the second, then the third. Once you have 3 successful mortgages behind your back that brings you cash every single month, you have built a successful business, my friend. At this point, banks won't hesitate to give you like millions of dollars. If you don't have that kind of money, then don't worry, because unlike real estate, you can start investing in the stock market with as little as $1. I understand the stock market is complicated, but here in this short animated course, just 30 minutes, I explain the foundation of the stock market with practical steps. The first 100 of you to use the link in the description will get 2 weeks of Skillshare trial and can access the course for free. And for the rest of you, you can get at least 2 free stocks if you open an account with Webull and deposit $100 using the link in the description. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.